Babka's daddy here. How's it going? The real daddy of Babka. And yes, I'm slowly learning how to hold a cat better. Jacques. And everyone commenting.
I think he could use a little work.
Well, let me just say this. She sure doesn't seem to mind whenever I'm around her. Today, it's summer seed starting, round 2.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, let's get to it. Why are we even doing this? It's summer, it's middle of summer, almost.
I mean,
actually, it's the first day of summer today.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's legitimately the first day of summer. And salute. And we need more plants.
We need more plants.
That's just how it goes.
We need more plants. So,
I've got a little select right here.
You got a little special, little dirty surprise, as we've called it, over there. I'm going with some classics. And actually, on this table, my friends, are 3 top secret things that might be coming out. Oh, just a little teaser?
Sorry.
Jacques loves to tease, let me just tell you that. So I'll give you this one here, Jacques.
All right.
I've got this old thing right here. I'll leave that right there for now. I've got our specialty pink 6 cells, limited edition, so don't go trying to get these because they're not on the store right now. What are you gonna kick it off with?
I think I'm gonna kick it off with some basil.
Some basil? Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do something somewhat unintelligent, I would say, and try to.
I like where that's going. Let's see.
He loves being dumb. He just does, and so do I. Okay, so I'm gonna do Luffa, which is certainly a bit late.
A little dangerous.
Certainly a bit late, but here's what I'm gonna do.
Never been scared though.
I've never been scared.
So,
yeah.
I mean...
Last thing you'll find me, scared. I'm just gonna actually scarify it somehow. And this seems a little brutal, but I've been told by Asian Garden to Table here on YouTube that this scarification, as long as you can get through that initial seed hole,
okay.
your germ rate cuts by like 1/3.
Oh.
Or germ time, excuse me, cuts by like 1/3. Now, I don't have a good way to scarify it on this table though, so let me go grab something real quick.
So I'm gonna go with dark opal basil. It looks really fantastic, tastes like a basil. I like to use it as like a finishing basil because the color gets a little lost when you cook it, but it smells great, looks great, adds a nice like layer of color to your garden.
I'm gonna try a clip method here. Just,
I think that works.
like just barely, like
legit.
just that, right?
Yeah.
Well, just a little taste. So there we go. So I'm gonna do 6 just because Luffa can sometimes be a little finicky, but guys, product number 1 that might exist soon.
6 dibbles at the same time.
Dibbles. It's the dibber for the 6 cell trays. We kind of mocked this up. I think it's kind of a fun little cute project, and here's why. Ready for this? Just give me a 5 count.
All right, 5, 4. Oh, he's already done.
I'm done. I'm done. And it's time to inject. It's time to inject these.
Summer Savory, featured in a previous video.
One of Jacques, one of our Poppy's favorites.
I need more.
It's one of Poppy's favorites.
Let's
right
get
there.
in there.
This move that he does. That little touch.
It's a secret touch.
That's more like this. That's like a seed bay.
Yeah.
It's like that salt. It's like this guy, but a little bit of this.
Dude, it's tickling the ivories.
Tickling the ivories. All right, I'm gonna go in now with some AV sunflowers, Antonio Valente sunflowers. I have to say, we started a lot of sunflowers this season. We thought maybe too many. Turns out, maybe not enough because
I'm actually also doing some.
Yeah, they're peppered around the garden all over the place. And we've really, really enjoyed the way that they've looked. In fact, just a couple days ago, I was here with the Epic Mom, just kind of hanging out, and we found a swarm of bees in the Russian mammoth sunflower that we planted in the front yard. We'll show you a little clip here. What a cool moment. So a queen split off from another hive, or maybe a queen was produced and the hive already had a queen. And so they have to leave. The queen flies away, the swarm follows. They hung out underneath our sunflower leaf for a while, like honestly, dude, 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is a bit long. So anyways, on the sunflowers, I'm doing Pro Cut Gold, Pro Cut White, Pro Cut Orange, and whatever's left in these. There's only a few left in those ones.
So I'm going in with the coneflower, purple coneflower. I thought I had a huge coneflower patch that ended up turning into Shasta daisies.
That's just echinacea, right?
Yeah, it's just echinacea. And I'm actually really happy with those Shasta daisies, but I still want coneflowers. They're perennial too, so that'll be fun to have a couple permanent patches.
Yep. The one thing I will say, specialty product number 2, this one actually is available. We now have the individual bottom cell for this, as well as the individual humidity dome.
Nice.
For the Epic 4 cell trays, we already have it for the 6 cells. So we have this individually. You can just buy a certain amount of these, or you can buy the kit, like a starter kit.
Right,
So,
combined with the salt, like the trays.
yeah, combined with a pack of trays as well. So it's kind of nice if you're a smaller gardener, like let's say, you're a balcony gardener, this is your flat of trays right here, and your watermelon, you want to control that humidity maybe a little bit more. Well, there you go. And then you can bottom water a single tray by filling that up with about 1 inch of water. It'll wick the water up from the bottom. Kind of just a nice little one-off solution that we came up with. So
yeah, it's nice when you want to just start like one tray.
exactly.
Or if you're indoors, it's wonderful.
Yeah, if you're indoors for sure, or if you're starting a tray with different germ times,
Yeah, it's true.
then one of them you can cover and the rest you don't have to.
This is like the 3rd time I've started these.
Uh-oh.
The Clancy Potato. This is a potato that grows literally from a seed,
Yeah.
not like a seed potato.
Yep.
It's like a crazy genetic accomplishment.
I met the breeder.
Yeah, you were saying is.
I met him in person. It took him 20 years.
See, like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I need to give more respect and actually succeed here.
I've been texting him the whole time. I've been like, dude, he can't figure out how to grow these things.
Every time I remember I want to start these, I do it as a one-off, and I don't have any other seeds going, and I just neglect it and it dies. So
Yeah.
here,
Let's show some
I'm being
respect.
friendly. I'm blending it in with all my other plants.
Well, it's
And it's gonna happen.
It's
That's
a
just what's
good
gonna
eating.
be.
It is a good eating potato, I have to say.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think it produces a lot per plant, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're all more like river rocks sort of sized.
Oh, that's more. I like cooking the smaller potatoes.
little smaller.
Anyway.
I think with summer sowing round 2, Jacques, a
Yeah.
lot of it's just like, what from your first batch, what did you maybe plant too little of? What did you
Right.
forget? Just try it again.
The other thing I'll mention is like it's a great time, especially if you're somewhere like San Diego, or anywhere that gets powdery mildew. It's easier to succession sow than to just try to treat and fight powdery mildew all the time, in my opinion. So for example, right now I'm going in with a Zephyr summer squash and a Tigress zucchini. These are both just another type of zucchini, but inevitably mine will get powdery mildew. They'll get too long, too old. So I want to have some backups. So I'm starting those now with the hope that in a few weeks I'll have somewhere to put them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually an interesting technique, is like instead of trying to relentlessly spray,
Exactly.
which, we actually just released a little clip today on Instagram about how cinnamon is often recommended as a fungicide. And while there are some actual lab studies that do show it does have some effect, it's like a concentrated extract of essential oil
Right.
from a specific species.
Not
So it's like,
something you have at home.
it's just not super replicable. By the way, I'm doing Russian giant sunflower,
Nice.
because those ones are the 10 or 12 foot tall ones in my front yard.
I think
And
you
then
got some 14ers out there.
I certainly might soon. So the next one I'm gonna do finally is a skyscraper. Then I'm done with
okay.
the sunflowers. So cinnamon, maybe not the best fungicide. Certainly if you're gonna use a fungicide, just use a fungicide, an organic
Right.
one. However, some of us might not want to spray in the first place. And so
Exactly.
how to avoid it? Your tip, Jacques, is pretty solid.
It's also just like easier. To me, I'm like, I could go out there and try to spray stuff all the time and just get frustrated. But if I have a healthy plant as a backup and I more than likely have enough zucchini, just start over. I don't know if you've ever seen the Zephyr summer squash, but it's this one that is two-toned. So it has like, I think it's, yeah.
We grew it last year.
Yeah, I grew it last year. So it starts off yellow and then like the last couple inches is green. I'm pretty sure that's the way it goes. But they're also really good.
So I'm gonna use our little dibber tool here, and I'm gonna plant my favorite flower that I personally have yet to grow a lot of, which is a straw flower.
Oh, yep.
So this is the one that you've got, Jacques. You've got beautiful straw flowers in your area. The ones in your garden right now, though, tell me, did you start those from seed this year?
So
Or no?
No.
Because they're pretty established.
They're very established, and that's because they're all self-sown. So if you've grown a straw flower before, what you'll find is that it's kind of like a daisy. I think it is in the aster family, but it has like those seeds that have the little fluff at the end, and they float around and fly everywhere. And a single flower produces probably 200 seeds. So they scattered throughout my garden, and they all came up really early, like really, really early spring. And I had flowers. I've had flowers now for months. Like it's been incredible. I'm really happy that happened. Total accident, out of my control. Great move on my part.
Well, here's the crazy part about it. It's an aptly named plant because of that texture on the flower.
Yeah.
It's such a good dried flower.
Totally.
Because it effectively feels dried as it's growing.
It sounds like crinkly when you touch it, and it attracts a lot of different bugs. Actually, I found that the butterflies love it. All sorts of like hoverflies, wasps. I find all sorts of things on them. So
I'll just say this. I mean, this entire front row, all straw flower. I just went big.
Damn. Okay.
I love them. Well, because they're so striking.
They are.
Okay, so I just came up with something. So look at this. Holes with seeds in them, right?
Okay.
Little earthquake, little San Andreas fault action going on here. Now what's happening?
You see the soil, it's coming in.
It's coming in.
Filling in.
Look at this. The straw flowers are fully buried.
I don't even see a seed.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab a little treat real quick and I'm gonna show you guys the third product that is coming pretty soon on the store. Okay, let me thread the needle here. So you guys know we've come out with these trays, right? The 6-cell trays, 4-cell trays, the domes, et cetera, right? What about the thing that holds all the trays? We hadn't come out with that yet until just now.
Ooh.
So this is the 1020 universal bottom tray. What do you see?
I see a nice flat bottom, no like weird like little channels. Mm-hmm. I see a very rigid tray based on the way you're holding it.
Look at them. Here's how you know a tray's rigid or not. Because I mean, honestly, I just threw away a bunch of ones that I got maybe a year or two ago that are the super flimsy boys.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let me show you something.
He's got a little treat for you.
So if you see that,
yeah,
that's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
This feels very scary right now.
It looks scary. And these are precious plants. I can't be losing these. So you know what?
It's actually cracked.
You know what, Jacques? Random selection. There's a random dragon fruit here, but that's fine. These are all pretty, I would say pretty heavy because you've got, wet soil. I mean,
also,
what more can I say?
Counterpoint, these are 4-inch 4-cells, fully watered. Like there's still water in the bottom.
Do this.
Look, no problem.
How far out can you hold it? It doesn't scare me one bit.
All right, so I'm beyond halfway point.
I'm gonna hold it from here. It's starting to bend just there,
but it's holding.
But it's still holding.
Not breaking.
All right, grab it. And that, honestly, that's probably 25 to 30 pounds.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really heavy.
Because there's a lot of water.
So here it is. It's called the universal bottom tray. It has this nice sort of ridge design, so you're not putting it on the bottom and eroding the bottom. If you're putting it on something that potentially can scrape a little bit, you're at least only taking away the ridge, and the ridges all help for stability.
Yeah, it gives that rigid feel.
Yeah, nice stability. Nice, like the problem with a lot of these trays is they tend to like bend and get damaged at the corners. This is actually just a prototype, so it should be even more sturdy by the time that it's in your guys' hands. But I'm really excited about it. Hey, guess what? That wasn't a problem. Because of this. But what I like to do after I start the seeds is just fill the bottom up, which is really easy to do with something like this. So there you go. I fill it usually to the brim. Obviously you want it on a flat surface in a perfect world so that you actually get perfect uptake. Mm-hmm. And so what we've been doing is just, as you come through and water something like this, when you're starting your seeds, the easiest thing to do is just take one tray out, fill the bottom up till it's all the way done, and then replace it. And you literally will never see your seeds go dry at all, which at least for us, when you start outside with wind and sun, it can actually kill your seeds off kind of easily.
Actually, a little throwback to what we were talking about earlier. People will say you can use cinnamon to stop dampening off. If you bottom water, you're not gonna have dampening off.
You're really not.
That's usually the issue that causes that.
Because here's what causes it. That right there. I just killed every single one of them. No, I didn't, but that's what can cause it. So I'm gonna move into second sowing of beans is really what I'm concerned about now. It's that front yard garden spot that we did beans in. Still producing, still pumping them out, but it is a little bit slow right now. So we got to reset.
I just went in with some pole beans.
Oh, you did?
Seychelles.
Seychelles? So where are you going to put those in the garden?
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
We don't talk about that.
I don't know where you have the space to...
Anything I'm starting, we don't talk about where it's going.
So here's the question.
I have space. It doesn't matter. Nobody asks. Leave me alone.
Jacques doing a illicit nursery. That's what he's doing. Yeah, I will say, I'll actually give us both some props. I think both of our gardens this year are the strongest looking from production and aesthetics that they've probably ever looked.
I'll say this. Who knew that irrigation would make such a difference?
Who knew? I think we both knew.
Yeah, I think we did.
And we just didn't do anything about it.
So I'm actually really excited for this one. This is Benary's giant lime. So it's like the queen lime, but this one makes like
Zinnia.
a huge, sorry. This one makes a huge flower head that's all green.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have some green flowers in my garden.
Benary's giant lime.
Yeah.
It's actually weird to have a green flower.
I know, that's why I want it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've seen them and they look really trippy and interesting.
Yeah.
So I want a few of those.
Oh, you know what? You're using the sage greens, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sage green color, terracotta color. These are new. These guys are.
Really like the terracotta and the green one.
I like them.
I've had the terracotta now for a bit. Work the same, work great, but they look great.
But they look clean. Somehow the tone is exactly terracotta.
It really is.
It's like not even. I put it up next to a actual pot.
Yeah.
I lost it. I couldn't tell where it was. It was crazy.
Well, I'm going in with something a little more unique. It's the Pigeon Pea.
Ooh, you're growing that.
Yeah, do you want some? I got 50.
Are they bush or pole?
I think Pigeon Peas
gotta be
kind
more
of
of a-
turn into a tree.
I'm interested.
I might be wrong.
Catch
Might be
me.
thinking of something else, but
Catch me with
I
these peas.
personally really like Pigeon Peas.
Did you have them last year?
No, but I've had them like in like Puerto Rican cuisine before. It's been really good. I'm excited.
I'll do a 6. How many are you doing?
I'm doing the 6-pack.
6-pack? Okay, I'll do the
'Cause,
same. Are you doing 1 seed per hole?
Maybe I'll do 2.
Oh.
I actually don't know. I don't remember where these seeds came from or what their deal is.
If you don't remember where they came from, you do 2 immediately. That means you plant double the dose. I need 3 more if you. I think I'll round it out here with some of these Whipples, a rare dry bean from Willamette. You know what would be interesting? Have you done this? Because I haven't. The beans I grow, I just eat as pods.
Yeah.
I don't dry them.
I've done it in small, limited quantities.
Yeah.
And they taste honestly very delicious.
This bean is fire looking.
It is actually
that thing
literally
looks,
fire.
Yeah, wow.
Kind of like lava.
Bigger too.
But dried beans, if you do it yourself, it's one of these things where when I first had a homegrown potato, I was like, how good could a homegrown potato be? Way better.
You definitely were a doubter. I remember.
yeah,
I remember
was
your
like,
transformation. Yeah.
Come on. But
Yeah.
same with onions, honestly. They're great. A little less on the worth it scale. But dried beans, very delicious. The broth is way richer, way more flavorful. And I've had it tepary beans and scarlet runners dry, and they're phenomenal.
Here's what I envision for myself in some future state.
Yeah.
I envision come into my house. I'll welcome you in, right? I'll pour you some mead that I've brewed specifically for my beehive.
Okay.
That's how we'll start. What'll happen next is you'll go, wow, nice place, Kev. I'll say, oh, thank you. I put so much time into it. And then after that, I'll invite you into the pantry, okay?
Okay.
Except for you'll say, am I in Sprouts Natural Market? That's what you'll say. You'll say,
I don't know if I've ever said that.
well, you'll walk into the pantry and you go, I thought this was your house, Kevin. This looks like a Sprouts Natural Market.
There's so many dry beans.
And there's so many dried beans and grains in those little
Full like bins.
bins. And then I'll say, why don't you pull something out for dinner, right? But if you pull it out, you gotta write the PLU code on it.
Way out a little back.
Otherwise, we're not serving that at my table. So that's what I envision for my future. Just
So maybe
you
a
know.
little dried bean bed out over there.
I'm not against the
not?
idea.
So I'm actually going in with something that's new to me. You have one going right now. I know I have one at my place. This is the Principe Borghese.
Show that off. Show that off.
Borghese.
Borghese.
I'm
Dude,
only 1% Italian, so don't blame me.
Imagine if it grew that way, though. Imagine
Like
if
if
one
just one
cluster
plant.
was actually that many on one.
So the deal with these is that these are storage tomatoes. So in Italy, apparently they grow these kind of varieties that have a thick skin. And once you harvest them, you hang them on a string and you store them in like a pantry for months. And you could just come in, pick a fresh tomato, make a sauce. I'm very intrigued by this. And I've heard some people do it in California. So I'm here to try it. I'd be so, like, how cool would it be to just have a pantry full of tomatoes that last for months?
That'd be so sick.
I
Yeah.
can't even imagine it.
So I am keeping on with the theme. I'm doing the beans still, but I'm doing Yardlongs from
Oh,
Kitazawa.
nice.
Now, what's crazy is look what these beans look like.
Oh,
They have this like
extra
sort
dry.
of like
Yeah.
almost like a larva like shell to the top.
Yeah.
You know, they look kind of odd. Here's what I want to do with these. And you got to connect this stuff to the experience you want to have in your life, right? So here's what I want to do. I want to grab maybe 6 to 8 diameter bundle, right, of the beans.
Bean.
Hold them. I want to wrap them,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to put them on the table. You're like,
Here's the beans.
here's what we're about to have. You know, like that's what I want to do. So I'm just trying to have that experience.
It seems like you're on the way then.
I'm on the way. So these are from Kitazawa Seed Company, both of them actually. So I went in with the white seeded. This is the Sasage Juro Kusasagemai. And then this one up here, I'm doing the mosaic. So these guys kind of look the same. I'm curious what the actual bean
They do
will
look the exact same.
I'm curious what the actual bean will look like, the pod itself.
I'm going in with 2 cucumbers. One I don't like the name of at all.
Say it.
Green fingers.
Why don't you like that?
I don't like what
Aren't you
I'm
Daddy
seeing in my
Green
head.
Fingers? I hear you muttering that when you're taking naps and stuff.
When I'm sleeping out here with Bobka.
Yeah, he's out here sometimes and he's like, I'm Daddy Green Fingers. It's so weird. I don't know why you do that.
But
weird.
it is a Persian cucumber, which I do love.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll say this: if the fingers are green, maybe I'm interested. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm dreaming of.
Curious, guys. What are you guys starting a second sowing for summer, or are you not? I know that a lot of us aren't living in climates where that's super possible, but it's June 21st. I think most of us can consider a second sowing, really, no matter where you are.
At least for some things. Like, I would say right now, I probably won't start a new beefsteak.
Yeah.
Because there won't be enough sun for them to form. But cherry tomatoes,
no new eggplants,
plums,
no new peppers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever you have is what it is at this point, honestly.
Yep. I would say, like, go out, audit your garden, see what you might have been a little bit light on, and then maybe just go from there. I'm gonna hit it with this. These beans are gonna take a little bit to germ because I did not soak them or did not scar them in any way. But I'm honestly not in that much of a rush to get these going. I'll take one out. I'll fill up the bottom tray. So guys, by the time this video is out, we won't have the trays out just quite yet. We're still putting some finishing touches on the product. But what is out are the different colors of the sage green and terracotta on the 4 and 6 cells, as well as the bottom and top domes for both the 4 and the 6 cells. So if you're already sort of in the ecosystem of the Epic 6 cells, I think these are great additions. We certainly have been loving them quite a bit here. And thank you for joining us for Seed Starting Round 2. Until next time, good luck in the garden and keep on growing.